We're live here at CubsCon, and I'm joined actually today by Evan Altman, Cubs blogger, and Rob Z, which you'll see here in just a minute. Evan's going to actually conduct the interview for us, so stay tuned in, and at the end we're going to have a little bit of fun with Rob, and I don't want to give too much away, but you're definitely going to want to stay tuned in. So much going on here at CubsCon today, Evan. Let's give everybody just a quick overview before we jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. So last night was the opening ceremony. Just kind of had all the players announced and kind of got everybody hyped up with some videos, and all the fans were up there in the big ballroom. And then this morning, they're doing all the panels. So the Ricketts family just addressed all the crowd, answered a few questions. Now they got baseball operations going on, and we're here with all the minor league affiliates, just letting people mill around, and it's just the vibe is kind of like when you walked around, if anybody was around the ballpark, after the World Series games or after the NLCS, and just kind of having all these fans walk around and just feel just immersed in everything Cubs. It's unbelievable.
All right, so without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, and let's meet Rob.
Awesome. So I was actually told that this is Mike Montgomery, is my understanding, right? At least that's what Ted Lilly
of course.
told you, right?
Yeah. So according to about 35% of Cubs fans, I'm Mike Montgomery, which is a huge compliment to him appearance-wise. So, Ted Lilly is a funny story. He was talking to me for about 10 minutes, and he knows me pretty well, but he also knows Mike, and he's talking to me about like my changeup, my curveball. How proud he was of me, like he stepped up in a big moment. I was like, nice, like Ted Lilly loves me. So some guy walks by and he taps the guy and he's like, hey buddy, I need you to meet my friend Mike Montgomery. And I was like, oh no. So I just went with it. I was like, hey Mike, nice to meet you. Like,
well, and I think that's continuing a trend, right? Because it's obvious the team might not even know who you are based on. I saw the back of your jersey here,
yeah.
And it's not quite spelled right.
Yeah. So that was strike two on embarrassing moments for me. Strike one was I was doing like an all-day caravan thing, and I was having a good time, and someone sent me a pic like, hey, saw you on Cubs Twitter, and I looked at the picture, and it was my last name, and it was not spelled right. So it's still sitting on the back of my jersey right now, not spelled right, but it's close, and it's a tough one, so I'm okay with it.
Well, so obviously you came up, you got some time with the team this year, and so people are having to learn your name a little bit. It's probably not, you may be aware, it's not the easiest one in the world for people to get, but it's nice. So on the blog, I'm able to kind of set it. So I set my spell check. So now when it shows up, I don't get the big red line under it. But just for the people who are out there who maybe aren't used to it, can you please pronounce for us your last name?
My last name is, it took me till fourth grade to get, so I completely understand. It's Zastryzny. So Rob Zastryzny.
Bless you.
Oh, yeah, see, exactly. That's what they used to say.
Whatever. So that's okay. There's a little bit of a joke there, but we were talking earlier, right before we started, just about kind of pitching in front of everyone. So your journey last year, right? You started out in Double-A, you pitched in Triple-A, you're up with the Cubs, you're on the NLCS roster, on a World Series team.
Yeah.
All in the space of a calendar year, not even. So has your head stopped spinning yet? And can you talk a little bit about that journey?
Well, luckily for me, it started spinning as soon as we won. Like, we won, and then everything kind of hit me in one moment. I remember I was sitting in front of my locker on the ground, and I was like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? And a guy came up and interviewed me, and he's like, hey, do you want to stand up? And I was like, not really. So he sat down with me, and we had like a little sit-down interview there. And, I just remember thinking, like, I started the year in Double-A, and if you would have told me I'd be on the World Series champion Chicago Cubs, I would have called you a liar. And, I was really fortunate, and a lot of things happened for me, and I honestly couldn't be happier. This was the greatest year of my life, and I hope that we can win another championship next year.
So you were actually, when you made your debut, you were actually the first pitcher drafted by the current front office to have made his way to the majors. I didn't know if you were aware of that, or if that's something that ever sunk in with you at all.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter at first, and I was like, no way, and I started thinking about it, and then I couldn't think of anybody, and then Theo came up to me and he was like, hey, just so you know, you're the first pitcher we drafted that is up in the big leagues, so no pressure. And he tapped me on the back and walked away, and I was like, oh man, I can't let Theo down. I got to throw well now. So yeah, it was definitely cool, and I remember thinking about it like it was definitely an honor, and I put in a lot of hard work to get there, so I'm really glad it all worked out.
Absolutely. So now that you've made that debut, right, you've been up, you've had a taste of that, have you been able to talk with any of the guys who, your teammates from the minors, some of those guys who are still, coming up behind you to say, hey, here's some words of advice? Have you been able to kind of share that yet, or has it all just been kind of moving too fast?
That's the great thing about the Cubs organization is the guys are so supportive. Like, I was in a group message the entire time, and they they're like, hey, Rob pitched today, and like all the guys like, dude, awesome job, or you got shelled today, or whatever it was, and like they all kept up with me really well. They kept texting me and kept in contact and stuff, and a couple of guys have reached out and been like, hey, what was your secret this year? What did you do to prepare yourself? Because we were actually sitting in Double A. This is one of my favorite stories. We were sitting in Double A, and some guy we played in the fall league with had made his debut. And I turned to David Garner and a couple guys, and I was like, what would you do if you were there right now? And we were all just like, dude, there's no way. Like, there's no way we can do it. And so that was like the start of this year. There was like, no way. There's no way I could throw in the big leagues this year. And then it kind of transitioned into, I'm ready. Let's do this. And then I got called up, and it all worked out.
Nice. Well, and we were, I know you mentioned earlier, obviously the affiliates have changed a little bit. So when you were coming up, it was Daytona was at that high A level, but obviously now we've got the Myrtle Beach Pelicans here. What did you take away? What were kind of the steps you took, especially in that A-ball level, that really helped you advance beyond and give you the tools that you've got now?
If I had to think of one thing, it was halfway through the season I had like an 8 ERA in high A. And when you have an 8 ERA, there's really nothing you can do to bring that down immediately. So you're like, okay, like, what can I do to just help my team? And so I called my college coach, and he said, Rob, just do what you did in college. Just try and win games and see what happens. And that's all I did. And I think we won 11 straight games I pitched in. And the team was really good. We had Schwarber and everybody, so that would be a huge reason we won. But I just changed my mindset from how do I change my direction or my arm angle or maybe get on top of my curveball. I changed all that to how do I win this baseball game. And that kind of gave me the mentality to just go out there and compete. And that kind of changed my whole career right there.
Nice. Well, I know you addressed it a little bit earlier, right? But coming up through this organization, I mean, you've experienced the Cubs at literally every level at this point, right? From the moment you were drafted, you came all the way through. Can you talk a little bit about, maybe a little bit more about that sense of family that this team has, not just among the players, but even the minor league affiliates and the organization all the way on there? Oh,
the guys care so much. During the playoffs, they had all the trainers, strength coaches come, and they did a lap around the field, and the fans cheered them on and everything. And Theo asked if I wanted to go out there and say hey to everybody, and I was like, of course. Like I've played with literally every single one of these guys at some point in my career, and they were just so like happy for me. They're like, Rob, like they're so happy. Like some of them had like tears in their eyes. They're on Wrigley Field in the playoffs. Like everyone's cheering. It was nuts, and it just shows how much they genuinely care. And they're not going to tell you something to benefit them at all. It's all for your career, and everything is for you. And coming up in an environment like that, it's really easy to succeed, and the Cubs have done a very good job to make sure that we're in a position to succeed.
Absolutely. So now let's transition that back to your actual family and growing up. What kind of support, what has that meant to you, again, along your career and from playing as a kid and all the way up? How have they been able to support you through this journey?
I 100% wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. And I had the support of my parents and sometimes just the motivation I needed because I remember in high school there'd be these pool parties and I was just trying to be as popular as I could, sit at the pool table or whatever. And my parents were like, look, none of that matters. You need to go play tournaments. You need to do this. This is what you want to do. And I told them I wanted to be a professional athlete since I was 6 years old. And they're like, that's what you really want. Let's try and do it. And they pushed me, and they were there when I was pitching bad or hitting bad or whatever it was at the time. And they sent me off to Missouri, and I didn't have the confidence to go. I was like, man, that's 14 hours away from home. I've never been away from home at all. And they're like, you can do this. Like, we'll fly up whenever you need us. Like, just gave me that, like, edge to go to Missouri. And that ended up being a great decision for me. And I'm thinking that's why the Cubs saw me so much. And that might be a big reason why I'm here now. And, I can't thank them enough for that.
It's kind of interesting how that all works out, right?
Yeah.
So what, obviously I know, you talked earlier about some of the things you're working on, especially at the A level. We talked about the things. I don't know how much of those. Maybe Ted Lilly was working with Mike Montgomery on some of these things. But what have you been working on? I mean, I know you talked earlier about the curveball, arm angle. Like, what do you need to work on to stay at the highest level and to continue to be a big part of this going forward?
That's actually a big thing for me. Is the guys told me that like it's really easy to get to the big leagues. It's hard to stay here. And I was like, man, it was really hard to get here. I wonder how hard it is to stay here. So that's kind of the mentality I take into the off season. Like, I got to keep working so I can stay here because it's really hard to stay in the big leagues. And I talked to Mike Montgomery actually a lot about, and not just in the mirror to Mike Montgomery.
Like, you're the same person, right?
Yeah.
So
I actually talked to him in person. So I talked to him, and he has one of the best curveballs I've ever seen. I was like, man, like, what's your secret? And so we talked about it a lot.
What
He told
is his
me.
secret? Are we allowed to?
Yeah, his secret's very easy. I have a very stiff wrist when I throw it. He has a very loose wrist, and it gives him the extra rotation on it and stuff. And it's hard to do, but he's mastered it. Obviously, he got the last out of the World Series with a curveball. So, yeah, it's work on my curveball, and then it's always just making sure your delivery is solid. Like every offseason, for some reason, the first week I throw, my delivery is just a disaster. And then I'm like, okay, I forgot how to pitch, so let's see if I can remember how to do it in time for season. And so this year I kind of did a lot of dry work in the gym and stuff to try and keep it, and actually started throwing early January, late December, and it feels good. And I'm hopefully going to go into spring training feeling good and feeling strong.
Is there anything, I mean, is it baseball 100% of the time, or do you get the chance to get out? Are there other sports activities? I think your Wikipedia page says you're a fantastic amateur tennis player.
Yeah, it says amateur tennis player when really it could be professional.
Okay.
I just chose baseball over tennis, but no, I have a lot of hobbies. A lot of them include like going on vacation. I was actually just in Costa Rica with Stephen Paraxlis and my girlfriend, and we had an absolute blast. And that's just things that get your mind off baseball, especially at the big league level. It's like I'd warm up in the 12th inning,
right,
and then they'd put Chapman in, and I'd sit back down. We'd win the game, and we'd go celebrate and everything, and get back to the hotel around like 2 in the morning, and I am wired. Like my adrenaline is pumping, and I'm like, what do I do now? And so you just need to unwind. Like that's the biggest thing about being in the big leagues is like being out there. Like it's your job. You do everything the way you're supposed to, and then afterwards your adrenaline's pumping. You need to unwind. So that's kind of what I worked on this offseason. Laid on a beach for a while and played a lot of video games.
Nice. That sounds like a rough life, right?
Yeah.
A little bit easier, though, than maybe having to stay up till 3, 4 in the morning because
Well,
you can't get to sleep.
I lived at home, so my mom, like 3 weeks in, she was making my brother do all the chores and stuff. Like, Rob's a guest. And then she got used to me. And she was like, Rob, make sure you clean the bathroom. I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to move out.
I was just celebrating the World Series.
Yeah,
I'm
come on.
clean your bathroom.
I went from holding up a trophy to cleaning the bathroom floor.
Well, that's a little bit of a step down, but it keeps you humble, right?
Yeah,
it
keeps you humble for sure.
It's just like the fans when you come out there and maybe you don't have the best game in the world, right? Mom's there to lift you up, and then she's there to knock you back down.
Exactly. She keeps me right where I need to be.
Nice, that's good. Okay, so you get to pick any hitter that's out there right now, and what's your dream? Who's that guy that you want to come in there? The game's on the line, and you want to face this guy. And let's go with not another pitcher who's not going to get a hit, but I mean, like, who's that guy that you get this guy out and you feel like, okay, I kind of made it with this?
Actually, it was Adrian Gonzalez from the Dodgers, and I don't exactly remember what I did against him because I was kind of freaking out at the time. It was like my second outing, and I was like, okay, Adrian Gonzalez is hitting, don't give up a home run. But I remember watching him in spring training, and I was sitting in the stands, and I think he went like 4 for 4, 3 for 3 against us, and just sprayed it the other way on a changeup off C.J. Edwards. A really good pitch, and I was just like, man, how did he hit that? And then I remember thinking, I was like, if I want to pitch in the big leagues, I got to get that guy out 2 or 3 times. And so that was the kind of mentality I had. And then sure enough, my third outing, I faced him, and I ended up getting him out. I just don't remember how.
That's good. That's good for moving forward, right? It's just, just kind of forget everything you know and just kind of got to go with it. Well, okay, so obviously, we talked about a couple of those big moments and something like making your debut or being a part of a World Series champion. I mean, those are this interview, those are obvious things with your debut season that are going to be highlights, I'm sure, that you'll take away. But if we take away, the time we're spending here right now, what would be the highlight for you of this kind of debut season here with the Cubs?
So with the interview being first.
Right.
Okay, what would be second?
Well, and I think the World Series is probably second, so let's exclude those and let's go with what's your third and or fourth favorite things?
Fourth favorite things. Well, if I'm going like sentimental things, it was the parade. It was absolutely outrageous. I remember sitting up there, and I don't even know if they knew who I was, but I was waving at everybody, and they were screaming because they don't care. Like, it could have been like,
"It's Mike Montgomery!"
Yeah, exactly. It's Mike. And then I saw Ted Lilly out there, like, "Good job, Mike." But that was just so much fun. Like, they had the camera on me at one point, I think WGN, and they were talking to me, and we turned the corner off Michigan to go under something. I'm not sure what street we turned on, and there was just a line that as far as I could see of people. And I remember they asked me a question I just forgot, and I was just staring at it. I was like, do you see that? Do you see what I'm seeing? And they were laughing at me and stuff. But if we're talking about physical things, it's the food. The food up there is outrageous. Like, I remember Albert Almora went up, and I was like, dude, Howard, when he came back down, I was like, how's the big leagues? He's like, you're going to gain 30 pounds. I was like, what do you mean? I have a good diet. Then I went up there, and they're like grass-fed this, like all sorts of like healthy food. And you just feel so good about eating it. You just keep eating, and you just have so much time before games, and they have so much food for you. I don't know.
I didn't know. Did you carry any of that desire for that with you when you guys moved back?
Oh gosh, yeah. I was actually homeschooled. My parents made me make that for a school project once. They're like, it's like a Canadian
celebrate
thing.
Canadian culture.
I thought it was just like bread, but my parents were so much more in love with it than I was. So, but no, they just had so much good food and stuff. But yeah, the parade was great. That was right up winning the World Series, like feeling wise. We were all just like taken aback, like no way this is really happening. So it was super cool.
Well, I could see that. I mean, just see even watching it from far, just seeing that flood. I can't even imagine when you're watching anything like this, today to see all the people just come around and just swarming around and being a part of it. So, I mean, did you know being drafted by this organization? I mean, to have a thought of like, and it'd be really cool to win a World Series. Was that ever in your thought process prior to that?
Oh, definitely. Definitely not initially, though. When I first got drafted, I was coming out of Missouri my junior year, and we had a good team. We just couldn't win games. Like, we just kept losing one-run games and stuff. I think we ended up at like 20-35 or something. So I was like, all right, bad junior season. Like I wanted to go to Omaha like every kid does, and I got drafted by the Cubs, and at the time they were not very good. So I called my dad, or I was actually sitting with my dad, sorry. I just got off the phone, and he was like, so what are you thinking? And I was like, Dad, I can't believe I'm going from the Zoo where we lost all these tough games to going to the Cubs who haven't won in so long. And this is Rob Zastryzny, Astros fan, grew up in the South. And then I started looking up all like the Cubs history and stuff. And like that night, I stayed up all night just reading about stuff. And the next morning, I tweeted like, I cannot believe I'm part of this organization. This is crazy. And in my first interview in Low, I actually said my dream for my career is to win a World Series with the Chicago Cubs. And it ended up coming true. I tweeted it, got like 5,000 favorites. Felt really good about it. So, no, but it was just something that I've always wanted to do with the Cubs. And now that I've won one, and I want to be a bigger part of it, of course. I want to be on the roster. I want to pitch. I want to throw the last out like every kid wants to do. And
you know who threw the last out of the World Series?
Me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Mike Montgomery, sorry.
You can't, now we're taking it back to the reality.
The reality, yeah. I mean, it's just now that we've won one, I want to be a bigger part of one. And I want to be like Lackey and Lester and them and Ross who have multiple rings and stuff. And it's like an addicting feeling. Like it's something that we brought to the city that they helped us get. Like it was just a huge like team effort throughout the entire Chicago and all the fan base that we have. And it was a great feeling.
So what do you see? I mean, do you look at trying to set a goal for I want to hey, I want to be in the bullpen, I want to be in the rotation, or is it more just I'm going to be the best I can be, and then I'm just going to take whatever the front office, whatever Joe Madden puts in front of me, and I'm just going to fill that out to the best of my ability.
It's kind of both. Like my long-term goal, I want to be a starter. I want to be in the rotation. I want to be you said the bar high, like Cy Young type stuff, all-star game, like for future in my career, like just to set the bar really high. But the best way that I can get myself to get there is to just do what I can for the team. And that's how I pitched this whole time I was up here, and I had a lot of success doing that. Was if you want me to start, I'll start. You want me to come in, close the game, I'll close the game. Long relief, I'll do it. And I think that's the best way for me to prepare myself to do all these things in the future.
So there's a lot of talk up there today, too. Obviously, you're familiar with having the bullpens on the field, right? That's always been the case. They're going to be moving those under the bleachers. Have you thought about that at all? I mean, it's a big deal with the fans. How do you see that as a guy who's come out of the bullpen?
It's kind of cool to be sitting out there, and when you get called out, it's nice to jog out there. And the fans out there are so nice. Like, we actually know a lot of them, some of the season ticket holders back there, and we chat with them, and CJ will give them seeds and stuff, and I'll give them seeds. But at the same time, like, you can't really stretch out and get loose out there. Like, if I'm sitting for 9 innings and they want to put me in the 10th, like, I've been sitting in the bullpen having like a random pee break every 4 or 5 innings. Like, that's the only action I've got.
Well, you don't get to play chicken out in the bullpen. You're out under the bleachers, right?
Yeah, okay, well, at least if we're hitting, we can like do some foam roll and stretch and stuff. Because I look really goofy doing all my stretches. I can't do that on the field. Everyone will laugh at me. So yeah, I definitely need like a space where no one can see me.
About like the space. So and you talked about the food being a big difference. What about the clubhouse they've got now? I mean, how nice is that, right?
Well, I get there the first day and they're showing me around, and I'm like, this is outrageous. I've never seen like a big league clubhouse. Like, this is crazy. And then I actually started on the road, and I went to the road clubhouses and stuff. And I saw ours. It was great. So I'm walking up towards the field, and I see the batting cage. I was like, oh, cool, they have a batting cage in here. And I think it was Montero stopped me. He was like, this used to be the locker room. Like, this batting cage used to be the locker room? Like, I couldn't believe it. It's the coolest thing in the world. Like, I took one of my buddies down there. He plays for the Pirates. And during the World Series parade, he was there, and he was blown away. He was just like, dude, this is outrageous. Like, all the stuff here, there's like a nap room in there. Like, I haven't used it yet because I'm too scared that I'm going to miss something. But definitely, like, 5 years down the road, I'm taking a nap in there.
Yeah, once you get in the hydrotherapy chamber and, like, float for a while.
Exactly. There's so much cool stuff in there. Like, I don't know, like, it's hard to pitch a full season. It really is. And I'm wondering how these guys like John Lester and them throw. He's a massive guy, strong dude. And I'm like, how do they throw 200 innings? But they're so good with their recovery. They have so much tools for them, and they use all of them. They get their massages. They're so meticulous with their routine. Like, that's what I learned most this year. And, like, the Cubs clubhouse gives you the option to do anything that you need. And so that's been a huge part for us.
Well, I was going to say, it's not the main driver of it. Obviously, the talent on the team, guys like yourself and everybody built through the system.
Yeah.
When you look at having a spot like that, a space where you guys can go and just kind of relax and get pretty much whatever food you want, right?
Yeah.
You can hook that all up and then be able to kind of go out and then perform on the field a little bit better. So that was cool. I got to tour it, and I wanted to kind of stay there. I was like, maybe I could throw left-handed or something.
Yeah,
make it up. There's a few of you guys. And
it's really easy to do.
if I get a little taller, maybe and add about 20 miles an hour to my fastball, I think I might be able to make it. So
Just 20. That's like a year of work. You could be there next year.
It's not that bad. Or maybe I could throw an EFIS pitch, who knows. So now we're there.
Jamie Moyer did it.
Yeah,
81 miles an hour.
He was older than I was when he was winning the game, so pretty good. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this part of it. I know Kristen is going to embarrass us with a game over here, apparently, that we get to play. So I am very much looking forward to seeing what I can do to embarrass myself further.
Oh, perfect. Let's do it.
Which I also have to back up and say that you glossed over the fact that this interview was going to be the highlight of his his season, and you picked right up on it, and it is number one, of course.
It's number one. Yeah, so, I would say it's the best thing that happened, like my whole pro career, but it's the best thing that's happened in 2017.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that's happened on
it's still early.
Yeah, it's early in the year, but for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I know fun is definitely a big part of the culture.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with the game, watch your mouth.
I don't know how to put this in.
So
does not.
The wider part actually tucks in to your mouth.
Oh gosh.
Do we have a bib that we need to?
No. You'll be okay.
If I drool on camera,
so
are they gonna laugh at me?
Here's the deal. We've got.
I will.
And then, that's fine. You can tell them to laugh at me too.
They will all fall. You guys can all laugh at him.
So I'll give you 2 phrases to say, and Evan, you have to guess what these phrases are. So go ahead and put yours in.
Can I do it off camera? I'm really nervous about this.
Yeah. Here, we'll hide you for a second.
Am I doing this right?
And Evan, look away. We'll show the audience what he's supposed to be saying.
I want to look away from what he's doing over here anyway.
There you go. That's a good look for you.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I'm not.
All right.
I missed this thing. I didn't see it.
Rob, there's your first.
Baby, what's yours?
I'm thinking at it if you can't tell what I'm saying. Okay. Clark the Cub is adorable. Clark the Cub is adorable.
Clark the Cub is adorable.
Okay, see, that's a pretty easy one. So, Evan, look away again. He's got one more, and then it's going to be your turn.
I don't want to look anywhere. Just put the cards over.
Yeah, I'm going to dribble it.
I'm afraid. I'm scared of you.
All right.
My name is Rob Zastryzny. My name is Mike Montgomery.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, my name is Mike Montgomery.
Close enough. All right. I'll let's see. And this is the last one for you.
All right. Wow, we are World Series champions.
Wow, we are. We are World Series champions.
I can't say the P.
P's and the B's are very, very hard. So Go ahead and take yours out. Well done.
Oh man.
And Evan, I think it's time for you to try this out.
I was considering buying this game for fun. There's no way I'm buying that now.
No?
There's no way.
It's a little painful, actually, once you play with it.
You're sitting there, you're trying to say something, you just feel like helpless.
All right, Rob, now you have to look away so we can show the phrase to everyone here. Evan? All right, here we go.
The alien is a head player.
What?
Yeah. The alien is a head player.
It's like the mailman is a bad ball player is what
Exactly.
I'm hearing.
Exactly correct.
Why would that be something you say?
That actually is a phrase from the game.
What?
The rest of these we've made up, so that one was a little bit more difficult. All right.
This one came at the game too.
Oh wow, that's actually in the game.
All right, one more for Evan here.
Okay,
So.
look away.
Whoop.
Okay. Ivy grows below the bleachers.
I thought you did that one pretty well, actually.
That was actually really good. Ivy grows below the bleachers.
All
You said
right.
below the bleachers.
Below the bleachers.
All right.
That's really good.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, thanks again so much to Evan and Rob for sitting in today, and we will be back in just a little bit with more right here at CubsCon. Actually, next up is going to be Jamer Candelario. So
Oh, nice.
any tidbits and maybe secrets, comments, funny stories to share with folks about Jamer?
Oh, Jamer?
Yeah.
There was one time in Low A, my favorite moment. I just got called up to Low A from short season, and Jamer Candelario, make sure you ask him, there was a bunt down the third base line. He was playing third base, and he tried his hardest to make that ball go foul. He got down and tried to blow the ball foul.
He didn't.
Yeah, I thought
We
it
will
was
ask
like
him about
that's
that for
so
sure.
much like team effort. Like as a pitcher, you gotta respect that. Like he's trying to get you that foul ball. Oh man, I loved it.
Awesome.
Good deal. Awesome.
Bring
Well,
it
thank
up.
you again very much for coming in,
Yeah.
and we'll be back in just a little bit. Like I said,